Hello and welcome to my video where I'll talk about upgrading your Xbox One X or Xbox One or PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro hard drive space. Now the trickiest way of doing it is to just change the internal hard drive in the consoles. Now I did that with my PlayStation 4 Pro. I upgraded it to a 2 terabyte. If you go up to the 4 terabyte, I don't think you can really do it. I don't think you can change the internal drives. So the quickest, easiest way of increasing your storage space on your console is with an external hard drive. Now both Sony and Microsoft have made it even more easier than it ever has been to do so. I bought an Xbox One X a little while ago and it comes with a 1 terabyte hard drive. Now in my opinion that's really poor, considering that my PlayStation 4 sort of 3 years ago I upgraded that and had an internal 2 terabyte hard drive in there, which I then just transferred over to the PlayStation 4 Pro. So even with the PS4 Pro I've had a 2 terabyte for over a year now in that machine, so double the space, and games really don't take that much space on the PlayStation 4 because of the checkerboard in 4K. Basically the console is using this thing called checkerboarding where it's filling in the gaps. I don't want to get too complex in my description of it, but hence why the Xbox One X, when you're playing your games in native 4K, the patches are much bigger. To put it in perspective, Gears of War 4 is over 100 gigabytes. So if you've only got a little 1 terabyte hard drive in the Xbox One X, you could only really fit 10 games. Now that's on the basis that each game is 100 gigabytes. That's not the case. Most games are between, I'd say, 50 and 100 gigabytes. I think Halo 5 is almost 100 gigabytes, and I think Forza Motorsport 7 is also almost 100 gigabytes. So it depends game on game, but obviously that depends on the developer. So the quickest way to do that is with external hard drive. Now I bought one of these, which is a Seagate 4 terabyte expansion. I think over here in the UK they're about £95 or so. You can get like the Xbox branded one, which is £20 to £30 more, but it's still Seagate, still the same hard drive. You won't have any issues with either. So this video is really just to illustrate what you can do to increase your storage. Now you could get 2 of these and have sort of 8 terabytes and then never really need to worry about storage ever again, pretty much, at least in this console's life cycle. But 4 terabytes, I have got well over 100 games on there and installed from disk and stuff, and I think I'm only like 30% used on it, so it's still got a lot of life left in it. That's the Seagate 4 terabyte, and that's an unpowered one. It's here, this is it. When I mean unpowered, I mean it uses USB 3.0, so it derives all of its power through the USB. If you want to go up to sort of 6 terabytes or 8 terabytes, the hard drive itself moves from a 2.5 inch to a 3.5 inch, and then it does need an external power. I've read that at the moment you can't really get more than 4 terabytes without it needing a separate power supply. I think Seagate do an 8 terabyte, but it depends. If the Xbox or whatever, or your PlayStation is your main console, then it might be worth the extra sort of £50–60 to get the 8 terabyte, but you will need that power source. So yeah, I've just gone for one of these. It suits my needs. And then obviously you can just add a second one if you need a second one. But like I say, I've pretty much got all the games I possibly want at the moment on the Xbox One X. So the 4 terabyte definitely suits my needs. The other company that I recommend is Western Digital as well. These passport ones are very thin. This is only 1 terabyte though, so you compare that to the 4 terabyte. You know, but Western Digital, I've never had a problem with these. And again, this was quite a few years ago. It's my first sort of introduction to hard disk drives that were powered through the USB rather than an external power source. So there you go. That's the 1 terabyte, and then this is just a red one. Don't know why I got a red one, but this is Western Digital's version of the 4 terabyte from Seagate, basically. The Seagate is a little bit longer, but the Western Digital is a little bit sort of thicker and a tiny bit wider. So that just gives you like some kind of idea of what you can sort of use to increase that space, because if you're planning on having 20 or 30 games on your Xbox One X, then that 1TB hard drive just isn't going to cut it unless you actively delete your games when you finish with them. But you know, your multiplayer games, you kind of want to have them on there all the time. So this video has just been highlighting how you can, you know, upgrade your storage space for either your PlayStation 4 Pro or your Xbox One X. Obviously you can use these for the, you know, the base consoles too. If you have found it useful, please do put it in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.